Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 1 of the Sales Performance Improvement Radio Show. It's great to be with you. My name is Terry Hansen. I'm the host, and I couldn't be more excited for you to join us today on this special episode. Today is January 5th, 2022. It marks the first day, first episode, exciting adventure. Now, because we just started a brand new year, like so many people, everybody on the planet setting New Year's resolutions to get skinny and fit, and a lot of sales managers and other sales leaders are also setting annual sales revenue goals for the new year. You're probably no different. You've thought about, you've looked at 2021 and how revenue was there, and you're also kind of forecasting and thinking about and planning what your sales revenue goals should be for this next year, right? Well, I want to share some tips and strategies with you that you can incorporate this year to increase the likelihood that you're actually going to be successful at achieving that goal this year. So stick with me. Okay, so I don't know if you've run into the situation where you've gotten to the end of a calendar year. You've set a sales revenue goal for your company or your sales team, and you've gotten to the end of the year, you looked at the number, and it was less than overwhelming. And maybe you came in 10, 30, 50, 100,000 below goal of what you anticipated to be at. And of course, senior executives kind of put the pressure on you, and they ask you the age-old question of why, what happened, how come we didn't hit our revenue goal? And you kind of run through the list and you say, well, we had this thing happen, or this thing happen, or we didn't quite do this, or we didn't quite do that, or this thing popped up, or we kind of got sabotaged here or there. And there's always unseen and unanticipated obstacles and barriers that seem to pop up throughout the course of the year that sometimes railroad us and derail our ability to hit that goal. So what can we do? Well, one of the missing ingredients in setting sales goals for the year is actually control. So many things about sales, winning sales and generating sales revenue are to some degree outside of our control. And so let's chat a little bit about adding back in greater quantities of control into your goal setting process so that you can increase the likelihood that you're going to be successful at hitting your annual goal. Now, let me share maybe an example with you. Me, like so many, have set a health and fitness goal for this year. I currently weigh about 180 pounds. I'd really love to weigh about 150. So I've got 30 pounds to lose. Now, if I just set a goal, a weight loss goal for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever the case might be, to lose 30 pounds, that's a good, clear goal. Now, with SMART goals, we know that I would be wise to be specific. 30 pounds. I would want to have it be measurable. I would want it to have it be attainable and realistic and time bound. I could say I want to lose 30 pounds of fat by December 31st, 2022. And that would be a very smart goal. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But it does lack a little bit of control. There's 101 things that could sabotage me between now and December 31st, 2022 that could derail my ability to achieve that goal. But what could I do to add more control in or increase the likelihood that I'm actually going to lose that 30 pounds? Well, if I march it forward a little bit and ask, okay, so what are some of the things that I can control that I can absolutely guarantee that are going to help me lose that 30 pounds? Let's see. What if I set a goal to spend no less than 30 minutes on my spinning bike, on my exercise bike every single day? And what if during that 30 minutes, what if I shot for making sure that my heart rate was elevated to kind of that fat burning stage 80% of the time? That seems to be something I can control, right? That losing 30 pounds is the outcome or is the result of lots of other things that have to come before it. Certain things that, calories that I have to make sure I stay within, or the amount of exercise that I get. But what are some things that I can actually control? I can absolutely control how much time I sit on my exercise bike. And I can control the intensity of my pedaling. And I can control how long I maintain like an elevated heart rate so I can stay in that fat burning zone, right? And if I know if I can keep that pace up by the end of the year, I'm almost guaranteed to lose 30 pounds. Right. So in their tremendous book, Four Disciplines of Execution, Chris McChesney and Sean Covey outline two important measures that you and I should be thinking about as it relates to our sales revenue goals for this year. They first introduced something called a lag measure. And then secondarily, they introduced something called a lead measure. A lag measure in this example is my 30 pounds by December 31st, 2022. That's that lag measure, meaning it lags behind other things. It's the result or outcome of things that came before it. A lead measure would be the amount of time I'm spending on my treadmill with an elevated heart rate 80% of the time. So a lead measure would be 30 minutes on not my treadmill, 30 minutes on my exercise bike with an elevated heart rate 80% of that time. The beautiful thing about lead measures is I have pretty much full control over the lead measure. I don't really have a lot of control over the lag measure because by the time I learn what that is, it's kind of too late. There's not really a whole lot to do about that. Now, with this whole kind of premise here, I want to bring it back around to sales revenue, and the sales goal that you have for this year, and apply this concept of a lead measure and a lag measure to that. So it really is a dangerous situation just simply to say, our sales revenue goal for 2022 is $1 million in gross revenue. Without setting secondary lead measures or lead goals, if you will, we run the risk of having 101 things pop up and sabotage us. But if we can get our arms a little bit around some of these lead sales measures that we can have a greater degree of control over, then by Joe, we've increased the likelihood that we'll be successful hitting that $1 million sales revenue goal. So I've typed up some figures here, but let's walk through maybe a quick example. Let's just pretend you and I in our company that our sales revenue goal that for this year is $1 million. And let's pretend that every time we close a sale, the average transaction value of a sale, the average size of a deal is, say, $2,000. Now, if we do the math, $1 million over the course of 12 months divided by an average transaction value of $2,000, that gives us about 500 sales that we need to have throughout the course of the 12 months. Okay, or if we break that down or divide that by month, that means our sales team needs to close about 42 sales every single month. Now, let's pretend we also had a team of, about 5 salespeople. Okay, so those 5 salespeople, they need to close together as a team 42 sales at an average of about $2,000 per sale. And if they just keep that up for 12 months, boom, baby, we've got $1 million in revenue. So 5 salespeople, that's about 8 sales per month or about 2 sales per week. Now let's pretend that our sales team, they close on average about 30, their closing ratio is about 30%. So out of 10 sales proposals that they might get out the door, they're going to close about 3 of those. So 3 out of 10 sales proposals on average will close. Now, in order for the sales team to hit 42 sales per month, that would mean that each sales person, they would need to get out about 6 sales proposals every single week so that they can close 30% of those 6 and close 2 sales per week at the $2,000 average per sale. Keep that up over the course of the year, and we've got our $1 million. Okay, but we know for a fact that not every sales lead that comes in that the information is going to be good and valid, or that they're going to get a response from the person who opted in and showed interest, etc. Not everybody, not all leads pan out and even turn into sales conversations. So let's pretend that say 3 out of 10, 30% of the sales leads coming in actually turn into productive conversations and actually turn into sales proposals themselves. Well, what that means ultimately is each salesperson is going to need about 18 new sales leads every single week so that 30% of those sales leads will turn into productive conversations and turn into those 6 proposals So that will then turn into 2 sales. Keep that up, average of $2,000 each. Boom, we've got our $1 million over the course of 12 months. So with all of those, that kind of a situation, let's ask ourselves the question, in this whole variable here, what can I as a salesperson, or what can I as a sales manager, what can we actually control? Can we control the number and quantity of sales leads coming in that marketing is producing for us? Not so much. Can we control how many proposals are actually going to get out? Well, a little bit. Can we control how many proposals actually close? Kinda. Can we control how many sales actually close? Well, kinda. But what do we actually have solid control over? Well, the answer is we have control over our behavior, the things that we actually do as salespeople, right? So what we have control over is how many times we work to start conversations. How many times we work to start conversations via email, via phone, via text, via social media, whatever the channel might be with those leads. So what would happen if we set a lead measure goal, a lead measure of starting 60 new conversations per week? 60 new conversations with the leads that are coming in. We work to start 60 new conversations every single week. That's about 12 a day. You think about your salespeople right now. Can your salespeople commit to attempting to start 12 conversations per day? Absolutely. If they attempted to work to start 12 brand new conversations every single day, what that's going to do is that effort will compound each day, each week, and turn into a higher likelihood of having those 18 brand new sales leads come in. So just because you start a conversation doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere, but starting a conversation means you've kind of got at least a validated lead there. So start 12 conversations per day, generate 18 leads per week. 30% of those will turn into proposals. That'll give you your 6 for the week. 30% of those will close. That'll give you your 2 sales for the week at $2,000 per sale times 12 months of the year. That'll get you right off to your $1 million mark. So in this case, it is wise to set a sales revenue goal of $1 million for the year. But we have to do the back end work, the leading work, to determine what lead measure do I have control over that I can manage, I can monitor, I can influence, and I can control 100%. I can control how many emails I send. I can control how many phone calls I make. I can control how many text messages I send. I can control how many conversations I start via LinkedIn, or connections I send out via LinkedIn. I can control all of that. And if I just do 12 of those a day, then theoretically, by the numbers that we've talked about, I'm all but guaranteed to hit $1 million in revenue by the end of the year. So I share this example with you as a smart way to gain some additional control over your goal setting this year in 2021. Now, my hope is that you will definitely set your lag measure, your lag goal, your $1 million sales revenue mark, but then you will also take those additional steps to figure out what lead measure do I have 100% control over and is predictive of future success, and that you'll make that your daily focus with your sales team. You'll make that your daily focus with your leadership group. You'll make that your daily focus with your customer service team. You'll track and measure each and every single day those 12 those conversations, and that you'll create some sort of a report card, a reporting system, or you'll see in your CRM how your salespeople are doing, so that in your once a week sales meetings, you can look at how many conversations your sales teams are working to start, how many emails, how many phone calls, all of that sort of thing. And you can determine right off the bat, are we on track or are we off track? How are we doing? Where are we at? Do we need to step it up? Are we ahead of the game or are we behind? So anyway, I hope some of these concepts as it relates to setting annual sales revenue goals have helped you. And I hope that you'll take those those extra steps this week to help you not only set those goals, those lag measures, but also those lead measures, and really increase the likelihood that you'll achieve your year-end goals. So anyway, hope you're doing great. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to check out episode number 2 coming up here shortly. And I can't wait to be back with you once again, right back here on Sales Performance Improvement Radio. Take good care.